All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our webinar today is Getting Involved, Engage, and Blaze Your Pulse. And today we have our great guest speaker, Dr. Lauren Cotant. And before we get started, thank you, first of all, Dr. Cotant, thank you for being here. And just as housekeeping items, everybody, you are welcome to send your questions at any point through the Q&A section. And you also may have the opportunity to view this live on Facebook right now. Then you can see the recording later on Facebook as well. And then we will go ahead and post it on our website within about a week with captions, so you can go back and look at it. This is a great webinar for you to know what's available for students, how they can get engaged and involved. It also gives you an idea of those out of the classroom activities and experiences we have talked about during our presentation, during orientation. So welcome everybody, and remember, send us your questions either via Facebook or live via the Q&A section here. So Dr. Cotant, welcome.
Thank you, Carmen, and thank you to Off-Campus Student and Family Engagement for giving the Office of Student Involvement and Leadership an opportunity to connect with our family members. I serve as the Associate Director of Student Involvement and Leadership at UAB, and as a part of my role, I have the great opportunity to connect with our students to help them really connect to three things. We want them to serve, to inspire, and to lead during their time here at UAB. Student Involvement and Leadership provides experiences outside the classroom or beyond the classroom that helps them do those things. We have two electronic or virtual platforms that we utilize to foster that engagement, to support students in leading and serving and connecting to campus experiences while they're at UAB. Today, we're going to spend some time together learning about those two resources. I hope that at the end of this session, you will be able to actually go and explore those sites. In fact, you're welcome to go ahead and visit the sites as we talk about them today and follow along as we go through the demonstration. As Carmen shared, I welcome questions. There's not a wrong question. We want to be able to support your student in the best way possible, and that starts with supporting you as family members. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first tool that we're going to watch and really learn about today is a platform called Engage. This is your student's one-stop shop for all things involvement related. And so I'll give you some insight on what that includes, but primarily at a large level, it includes the full student organization community as well as all campus events, among other resources. The second resource we're going to focus on is a website called Blaze Your Pulse. Blaze Your Pulse is your one-stop shop for community service. So at UAB, one of our mission pillars is community engagement. And then furthermore, the Blaze Your Way, which is the university's creed, a tenet of that creed is community engagement or service. And so we really focus on this through the Blaze Your experience, and Blaze Your Pulse exists to connect your students to volunteer opportunities and to help them track what we refer to as an impact at UAB. So the impact that they're making in the Birmingham or greater community. And so we're going to look at each of these platforms. I'm going to do some screen sharing so that you all can actually see what this looks like for your student as they interface with these different resources as well. We're going to start with Engage. And so there's 4 benefits that I want to highlight on the Engage platform. You can see here the web address for Engage. Again, if you want to follow along, I encourage you to explore. If you don't want to explore now, I do certainly encourage you to explore after our time together this afternoon. That first benefit is that your student can connect to all student organizations through Engage. UAB is home to more than 400 student organizations. That's a lot to navigate. I think that speaks to the variety and diverse campus audience that we have and the variety of interests that they have. But what the great thing is, that means that your student's likely going to be able to find one or more things that aligns with their interests or passions. If a student can't find an organization that aligns with their interests, they can also create an organization. And all of that happens through the Engage platform. So I want to show you how your student and how you this summer as well can start looking at the organizations within Engage. So here you're going to see that there is a menu on the left-hand taskbar. You can select organizations. I recommend that you filter by category. So you can see here, I'm going to select a category. Let's select honor societies. You'll see the full list of honor societies when you do that. We can scroll here because there's more than just what's by the naked eye. We have 16 honor societies. You select one, you can see their officers. You could click on that to email their president directly. You could see their constitution and bylaws, a description. You can contact them directly through Engage as well. If you're interested in getting involved, when you send that message, it's going to actually email Jakendra there, which is their primary contact. And when she responds, that would go to your student's UAB email address. You can also filter by branch. Engage is not just for student organizations. We also have university departments, as well as if your student, for whatever reason, plans to live on campus. It's for off-campus students as well as on campus, but you can filter by residence halls because they also have a presence on Engage. And so I encourage you all to go on and search through the student organizations. You can see the variety of categories that we have here. If you have a first-year student, we have a number of first-year organizations. Academic and professional organizations are actually our largest group of student organizations. So if your student wants to get involved, maybe suggest that they connect with an academic or major related organization as a means to connect with study partners and that sort of thing. But everything they need to learn about that org and connect with them is right here within the Engage platform. So Engage is where you're going to go to connect to student organizations. Go to the next page here. The second benefit I want to highlight on Engage is our campus events directory. So Engage is where all student organizations are required to submit their campus events. So anything from organization meetings. So if your student's interested in getting involved and might want to just go to a meeting to see what their org's about, they could find meeting opportunities there, to large scale campus events and programs hosted by not only student organizations, but also university departments that are designed for UAB students. And so we're going to look at the campus events directory. I want you to get an idea of what this looks like. So again, you're going to use that taskbar and go to the events tab, and it's going to have little boxes, kind of like a Pinterest look initially with the initial details. It's going to filter by date. So what you see first is coming up most immediately. You can filter by tomorrow or this weekend. Once you find an event you're interested in, you can click on it to learn more. You can even RSVP for those events. Some events require an RSVP. Your student can see if there's things like free food or free stuff, and then they can also see the host and connect with those hosts. And so this is an easy way. They can add it to their Google Calendar or iPhone calendars. It's just really easy way to integrate into their scheduling systems and to learn about things happening on campus. So we'll go through this one more time because that was a little quick for you to see some of the options. Keep in mind what you're seeing in front of you is based on today. I actually screenshot this today so you'd see an accurate portrayal. So a lot of our fall events are in the process of being uploaded to the system. So I encourage your student and you to go back in August, and you're going to see a whole lot more events than what's currently there. But we review events from students every day. And so in this past year, we had more than 2,000 events uploaded to Engage. So I'd also say if your student says, oh, there's nothing to do on campus, I can guarantee you that is not true, because we know that these events are happening and we know that they can find and connect to those through the Engage website. And so just encourage them to explore that event directory. The third benefit, and maybe the most important for you all on this call, is that this specific platform is family friendly. You do not have to be a UAB student to access the Engage resource. However, your student is going to have access to more of the platform. So specifically events that are posted, there's visibility settings. If an event is open to the public, you're going to see that without logging in. However, your student's going to see events that are also solely for the UAB community. And so know that what you see, they will see even more of, but I still encourage you to go on and explore, see what's there. It's even a great tool for you to be able to provide your student with some direction. I'm sure for a lot of our students, they are nervous, unsure of how to begin navigating conversations about involvement. And that is normal in a student experience. We are here to help them with that, but we recognize the resource of family members. And so if you can access this tool and say, hey, I was looking at the list of organizations and I really saw something I thought that would interest you, I'm going to send you the link, go check it out. you can help us prod them to say, this is an opportunity for you that is worth exploring. And so when you log into Engage, it's going to look like this. You'll see up here in this top corner, there's a sign in button. You're not going to be able to sign in, and that's completely okay. You can still access the events directory. You can also access that organizations directory. Some other tools I haven't highlighted to you yet includes a news post. This is where a lot of opportunities, such as currently voting for the homecoming theme, our forms. This is where you're going to get some random opportunities, but largely leadership opportunities to apply for, as well as there is a service tab, which I'll talk more about here momentarily. And so that would take you back to the main page. You could search there, scroll. It's going to connect you to all the similar things, just in a different format. So whichever way you like to explore, just know you will have access to this without signing in. I do encourage your student to sign in, because that's going to take them a step further to see even a little bit more than what we're currently seeing here. And then lastly, a benefit, and I could go on and on of the benefits of this platform, but the one I really want to highlight is this is low risk exploration. So I know for a lot of our students, they're uncomfortable maybe with approaching someone they don't know at a tabling event and saying, hey, I want to join your organization. I think that's normal, especially in our heads down generation. They're used to be on their phone and texting. We want to help alleviate any burden that might prevent them from getting involved. And Engage is a way to do that. They can go and they can explore virtually and then take that next step, because we do think it's healthy to take that next step, to have that face-to-face engagement, but it can start in an environment that feels safe for them. It is low risk in the exploring. They're not committing to anything. They can message someone and they're still not signing up for that org. They're just learning more. And it gives them the depth of knowledge of the types of opportunities that are available at UAB to make it really meaningful for them. In their if you have first-year students, in their first semester, a lot of our students are like, I'm going to hit the brakes. And maybe even as parents and family members, we encourage them to do that with involvement, because we do want them to focus on their academics. However, I want to share that our data shows that students that attend at least one campus event in their first 4 weeks are more likely to have a higher GPA than their peers who did not. That same data set also shows us that students, again, that attend one campus event in that first 4 weeks of school are more likely to say UAB feels like their home, and they stay at UAB compared to those peers who did not. And so with that in mind, I want you to encourage your student that you don't have to immediately join an org. That is an opportunity. But if that's not for you and you're feeling that sense of, I just need to slow down a little bit, at least go to a campus event and get outside of your residence hall, or if they're living from home, to get back on campus and engage with their peers, so that they can really explore, but connect to opportunities that are interesting to them and help them feel like they're a part of this Blazer community. If your student does plan to attend an event, one thing that I go ahead and encourage them to do in the summer ahead of the fall semester is to download their event pass. The event pass is similar to a boarding pass. It looks like this. It's on your phone. You can save it to your Apple Wallet, Samsung Pay. You can just take a screenshot, but you download it once and you're going to have it forever. You're never going to have to download it again. It'll stay yours for your full time at UAB. When students attend campus events, such as we have an event coming up the Sunday night before classes start, it's called Connect Fest. It happens on the campus green, and about 2,000 people are going to come out to that event. All 2,000 of those students are going to show their event pass to get into the event. It's a free event. All of campus events are free, but this is how we track who attended the event. So your student can go ahead and download this off Engage. I'm going to show you a tutorial for how they can download it, and it's going to make them feel more confident when they show up to that event or others and they're ready to enter. They're not having to fumble on their phone to find this resource they didn't know about at the beginning of the school year. So encourage them to download their event pass. To download, they are going to need to sign in. Once they sign in, you can see me here going through the credential process. They are going to see in the top right corner their profile. I've added my picture for them. It will be they're probably their first initial, and then they'll see a QR code. They click on that QR code again right there, and they can add that QR code, that event pass, to their wallet. I do recommend that they do this on their phone so that they can just drop it in their virtual wallets and have access to it as needed. But they can do this really anywhere on their laptop. Again, take a screenshot of it. Really, we just need their QR code to get them into the event. Now, let's say your student loses their phone or whatever. We know all kinds of things can happen, right? We're still going to let them in the event if they don't have this. We can look up their Blazer ID. We just prefer this. This is a quicker way for them to get in. It's interactive, and it helps them kind of track their involvement experience at UAB as well. One last resource on Engage, and then we're going to start talking a little bit more about Blazer Pulse. On Engage, I've told you there's 400 organizations, 2,000 events, all these things that can feel a little bit overwhelming. And so we have a group of student employees. They're called the UAB Pathfinders. They can help our students literally find their paths in terms of involvement on campus. They are trained to provide involvement consultations. So if your student is just having some hesitancy or not 100% sure, maybe needs some motivation or encouragement from their peer, because we all know sometimes they listen to their peers better than they listen to us, you can encourage them to connect with the Pathfinders. The Pathfinders will sit down with your student, meet either on Zoom or in person. It's your student's preference for 30 minutes. They're going to ask them some questions to get to know them. And then based on the responses of those questions, they're going to say, well, based on what it sounds like you're interested in, I think you should consider attending this campus event. This campus event is sponsored by XYZ organization. I feel like that might be an organization that aligns with what you're wanting to pursue. You could try out this event, and if you like it, then connect with the organization. Here's the president's contact information to see if it's something that you want to pursue for membership. So they can really steer them down a path of involvement that maybe the student wouldn't have been confident in navigating on their own. And so again, those are upperclassmen students. They work in our office. They're trained to provide this type of support, and they can really assist with helping students feel comfortable navigating the bulk of opportunities that they can find on Engage. To access the Pathfinders, they can go to Engage. There's a search bar, type in Pathfinders, and then the organization page will come up. You can reach out to the organization from there. And once the fall semester starts, there'll be a link on that page to schedule a meeting with the Pathfinders. So again, they only provide those consultations during the academic year. Due to their co-curricular schedules, they're not available during the summer, but we will have them available first day of class for students to go ahead and schedule and come in and meet with those students. And so that is an Engage really brief overview. I hope that just some of the things I've already started to share sound really exciting for you to explore. Again, I want to encourage you to explore this as well as your student, because it's accessible for family members as well as our students. And it's going to be, again, the best resource virtually for you as it relates to involvement leading into the academic year. Of course, if your student has questions about Engage, trouble accessing it, student involvement and leadership exists for a purpose. We want them to come to us and see us and connect with us, but this is a way that they can have some safe, low risk exploration, maybe at midnight in their pajamas instead of coming in during office hours. So now that we have covered Engage, and as Carmen shared earlier, if you have questions, please start submitting those about Engage. I do want to shift our focus to talk about a website called Blazer Pulse. I mentioned to you all that Blazer Pulse was really a connector to the university's mission pillar for community engagement. Back in 2019, university, different departments across the university really started to connect dots that we needed, what we felt like was a front door to community engagement at UAB, where community partners who had awesome volunteer opportunities could connect easily and say, hey, I want UAB students to come out and serve. Here's my opportunity. And then to connect that with students and say, this is the opportunity you want to serve. Let's put y'all together so that we can make an impact in the community. Blazer Pulse was the tool that came from those conversations and has been adopted on our campus to support that type of connection. We promote Blazer Pulse because we believe service should be a part of the UAB experience, not just because, it's a part of our mission, but because we value that as individuals in the Birmingham community. And for many of our students, they're going into pre-professional programs or graduate programs, post-undergrad experience, where they're going to need some of this volunteering experience or shadowing experience can really come from successful community engagement. And so there's so many benefits of community engagement. If we can get the students to Blazer Pulse to view the opportunities, I think that they're going to be better for it. Our community is certainly going to be better for it as well. And so what you're seeing here is the landing page for Blazer Pulse. Some things I'll go ahead and point out is your taskbar up in the top corner. Here, your student can log in and see their profile. The biggest mistake our students make on Blazer Pulse is not logging in. It's not super obvious. And so just making sure that they click, I'm already logged in here, but click the login feature. Most of our community partners do restrict those service opportunities to UAB. They're not public opportunities because they know UAB students are great volunteers and they want to kind of create those opportunities for UAB. If your student isn't logged in, they're not going to see the bulk of opportunities in the same way that they would if they were logged in. Now, you as a parent, you or family member, you're still going to be able to log or to access this without logging in, very similar to Engage. And you can still get an idea for the flow of the site. But again, the volume of opportunities may be different if you're not logged into the system. And so firstly, the benefit of Blazer Pulse is it's going to connect our students to volunteer opportunities. We have more than 100 community partners in the Birmingham area that have committed to posting volunteer opportunities on Blazer Pulse. Now, this is sporadic. Some volunteer opportunities are heavier at certain times a year, depending on what the activities are, weather permitting, and so on and so forth. But here's the deal. We want to recruit these partners to post volunteer opportunities. That's not impactful, though, unless we also have students saying, I'm going to register for these volunteer opportunities. So it has to happen simultaneously. That's where we can use your help to direct your student to the site to identify volunteer opportunities and register to serve. And so what does that look like? When your student logs in, they can search on the main bar by zip code. And so they can come in and just see initial opportunities by date. They could also search by keyword. You saw that search bar at the top there. If they are not in Birmingham, let's say you live in another location and they're home for the summer or winter break, they can also search by different zip codes because Blazer Pulse is a product of a company called Give Pulse, which is a nationwide endeavor. So you can see here, I've identified a service opportunity. They register for that service directly through Blazer Pulse. You can see all the variety of opportunities there. So we're going to walk back through this one more time, kind of show you how we found those opportunities. We've searched. If you click on it, you can learn more. So we're going to click on one here in a moment. Meals on Wheels. We can read the event details. We can see the name of the primary contact and message them directly. That's Ashley over there if we had questions about this opportunity. And then we can scroll down to pick our shift to register. So I pick this shift. It's automatically going to select that one from this list of shifts as we move through the registration process. Once your student moves through that process, they can then get an email confirmation that they've been registered, and then they just show up to serve. So it removes that middle piece where in the past, we might have to call somebody if we're wanting to go serve, ask them if they have opportunities. And that creates a barrier for our students. Blazer Pulse removes that barrier, says, go see the opportunity, pick the one you like, register, and show up. So the next benefit of Blazer Pulse is the ability to connect. So I believe that through community service, we create community on campus. I tell our new students all the time, if you're looking to get involved, but maybe you're not sure about joining an organization or don't feel like you are being able to connect with others real easily, some of us do that more easily than others, then go out and serve. When you go serve in the community, most likely what's going to happen is you're going to be with a small group of people. Typically, if service projects are less than 10 people at a time. So you know it's going to be a small group, so not overwhelming. But also typically it's a one-time commitment. So you're not saying, hey, I'm going to come serve for the whole semester. You're saying, let me see how this goes. If I like it, if I enjoy it, if I see the benefit of this and learn more about your community agency, then I can decide if I want to return. And for a new student that's getting adjusted to a new campus, that's really empowering. And so again, creating those connections, not just with the community, but also with their peers, are a great benefit of using Blazer Pulse and finding those service experiences. So here I want to show you a couple more things. I mentioned to you that we need to log in. So again, pointing your student to that. You can explore it without logging in though as well. Once they're logged in, if you go over to the left-hand side, there's going to be that Blazer Pulse word mark. If you click on that, it's going to take you to a homepage. It looks kind of similar to a Facebook. On here, there's going to be a tab for community partners. as well as our campus groups. We're going to click on community partners, and this is going to generate a list of those that are using the Blazer Pulse system. You can scroll and see the variety of opportunities we have here. We have more than 11 pages of community partners. I'm going to select one here, the Birmingham Botanical Gardens. When we select it, we can read more about them, and then we could actually even follow up and have a conversation with their primary contact about how we could get out and serve if they didn't currently have any opportunities listed. So it's kind of taking you back through that there, but a great way to connect and identify even campus groups. So those are student organizations as well as university departments your student could go out and serve with. The third real resource is capturing what we refer to at UAB as an impact. So an impact is not just volunteer hours. An impact could be that you went and you donated blood. It's the donation of goods, services, time, anything that we could capture that's supporting the community can be considered an impact. So also some of your students might engage in service learning courses. So there's academic courses where there's a community component that could be connected as an impact. In fact, we have service learning faculty that directly use Blazer Pulse for their students to record, again, what we call an impact. We want to make an impact in the community. And so I'm going to show you how your students can track their impact. And then what happens once they log that impact, it creates a summary, or really what could be considered a transcript of all their community service while at UAB. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So it starts with them going to add an impact. So I'm going to select that from my profile. Here, there's a few ways you can do it. You can type in a community partner. So I'm going to do Birmingham Botanical Gardens, kind of keeping with our theme there. And if they're already in the Blazer Pulse system, when we search that, they're going to pop up there. You can click on them. Okay, so pretty simple. From there, if they had any volunteer events, we'd select those. We could say if it was for a course, that we're typing in the other information that's necessary. We can provide a reflection. We encourage students to reflect on their service to really get the most from that service experience. And then you can share it with student organizations you're a part of. So let's say your student does join an org, they have a service hours requirement. They can share it with them in that way. Then you would add your impact. Let's scroll back up though. Let's pretend that Birmingham Botanical Gardens wasn't in the system. So we're going to go to change here. We couldn't find Birmingham Botanical Gardens, so we're going to click the blue can't find it button. Here you could type in the name of the community partner. They don't have to be in the Blazer Pulse system. So if your student has an ongoing relationship with an agency they want to keep serving with, they can still record their impact. The only change is that they have to provide a verifier to say, yes, this person actually showed up and served. When they submit their impact, Blazer Pulse will automatically email the person they list as a verifier to say, please confirm Joe's service. And they could click the blue confirm button and that impact would be verified. Once your student adds an impact, they can go to their summary through their dashboard. This is the transcript I was referring to. And this is actually mine. So you can see I have quite a bit of service that I've done here while I'm at UAB, and it's broken down into service types. You can even see it based on student organizations or departments that they're affiliated with. It's just a really great tool. I tell our students this and keep walking you through it, but I tell our students all the time, if you're planning to go to professional school and you know on your resume you're going to need to capture your service hours, using Blazer Pulse and recording your impact is going to be a great way not to forget about some meaningful service you did freshman, sophomore year. If you track it consistently, you can download that transcript at the end, have evidence of your service, but also be able to easily quantify what you've done in your time at UAB. So it's just a really, really great tool. Also on Blazer Pulse, we have several student organizations that post service opportunities. Two of my favorite I've highlighted here. We have a student organization called Serve 205. This is a group of 25 students who plan ongoing service projects. So each month of the academic year, they have 2 weeks of service projects where every day of those 2 weeks, Monday through Friday, they have at least one project that students can sign up for. And so the idea is that there's multiple times to be able to go serve with your peers. They pick different service partners and they have what we call a sustainable development goal. That's a list of goals developed by the United Nations to move us towards a global cause to end hunger, to eradicate, hunger, I guess, would be another example, to provide quality education. The list goes on and on. There's 17 different sustainable development goals. Those students pick a goal and then they find community partners in Birmingham they want to serve with that connects to that goal. So it's educational, but it's also service. It's also connection because you're connecting with peers. So Serve 205 is a great group for them to search on Blazer Pulse to find their service opportunities. I'm going to show you how to find those in a moment. The second group I want to highlight is the UAB Leadership and Service Council. This is another student organization. These students plan our big 1 day of service events. So these are your large scale, hundreds of students come out. We go out into the community and serve, 18 to 20 different locations at one single time frame. So it's usually 2 to 3 hours we go serve. One of our long-standing university traditions for service is a program called Into the Streets that is hosted by the Leadership and Service Council. Into the Streets has been happening for more than 22 years on our campus, and we have it planned for this fall. It's Saturday, September 9th. So if your student wants to come out and participate, the registration for that will go live by the first day of classes, so they can go to Blazer Pulse and register to serve. They get to pick their service site based on those that we have available. They register. We provide a kickoff on campus where they get some free breakfast. They learn about what they're going to be doing, connect with what we call a site leader. So that's like a mentor or an upperclassman student that they're going to get to know throughout the experience. And then they go serve, and we do provide transportation. So if your student doesn't have a vehicle on campus, no problem. They can still go out into the community and engage in that service experience. Both of these organizations and opportunities are posted on Blazer Pulse. So if your student's looking for them, this is a great way to get connected, not just to the community, but also to peers. I'll also add, if your student in the spring semester is looking for a leadership opportunity, through a program called Student Leader Selection, we select new members for both of these organizations. So that happens in January, so your student can get kind of adjusted to the fall semester and then apply for a leadership role in January. If your student plans to apply, we do encourage them to go to their events to actually experience it firsthand before they apply to become a part of the organization. So how would we find Serve 205? You can go to the Explore feature up at the top. You can switch to groups. Right now we're searching events, so we'd switch to groups. Type in Serve 205 with no space between them. The organization will pop up there. We'll click on it and it'll take us to our page. During the school year, when we have service events posted, again, they happen during the academic year. So we'll start ours this year in September. Those service projects would be there. They could click and register just like those other service projects I showed you a while ago. One really cool thing about Blazer Pulse is it is integrated with Engage. So I started with Engage. Y'all saw that service tab in Engage when we were there, as you're seeing here. This is Blazer Pulse, essentially. So if your student can't remember Blazer Pulse, at least get them to Engage, because if they find a service opportunity on Engage, such as this one with the Bundles of Hope Diaper Bank, it's going to reroute them to Blazer Pulse for them to register. And then they're on the Blazer Pulse system and can record their impact from there. And so they're kind of sister sites. They work together because our ultimate goal is to get students connected, involved, volunteering, serving their community, connecting with these student organizations that are providing those experiences as well. So they do talk to each other in that way, which hopefully makes that a little bit easier for you as you're encouraging your student to explore some of these resources. Additionally, if you have a new student, whether it's this year or last year, we have integrated Blazer Pulse and Engage into new student orientation. There was some modules that your students had to complete prior to orientation in the Canvas platform. That's the academic classroom type platform. And a part of those modules included tutorials on both of these systems. So hopefully when you bring this up to them, it won't be the first time that they've ever heard about it. And they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm familiar with that. Another great benefit for these two tools is when your student logs into BlazerNet, which is like their online hub for everything at UAB, they have icons for Engage and Blazer Pulse to easily connect to the site. So they don't have to remember the direct link. They can log into Blazer Pulse and BlazerNet and jump to it from there. One other resource I want to provide as we're rounding out the conversation today is on Engage. There is something called the Blaze Your Way involvement quiz. As your student is looking to get involved and they're feeling maybe overwhelmed with the volume of opportunity, we do have a quiz they could complete this summer where it's going to ask them a series of questions to understand their interest and then provide them with links to Engage to specific categories of orgs based on what they've shared their interests are. And so just another tool to help them navigate this. as they're preparing to come to campus, and all in a virtual format. So really easy to access. And with that, that is all I've prepared for you all today. I hope that these tutorials have been incredibly helpful for you to recognize some resources that your student and you as a family member have access to as it relates to involvement on campus. It looks like, I'm not sure, Carmen, if we've had any questions, so I'll turn it over to Carmen to see if anyone's dropped anything in the chat. I can't hear you, Carmen, you're muted.
Sorry. So thank you. First of all, thank you for this is a wealth of information, and family members, this is a conversation to start having right now when everybody's getting ready to come on campus, to explore the options so that when the academic year starts, students kind of have a feel of what they would like to go into. And we always mention how important it is to explore those outside of the classroom opportunities. This will lead to meeting people with similar interests, build resumes, and just the opportunity to serve the community and build that that community feel for UAB. So we're going to give a few more minutes to family members in case they want to ask any questions. Again, you are welcome to put your questions in the Q&A section. I'm also looking at Facebook to see if there's any questions coming in. There's a lot of information, and so if you want to go back, I would say go back and look at the presentation. Invite your student. They've done that course on Canva before for new student orientation, but this is a lot of information. They've had now time to process what they like, what they've been doing maybe in the past, high school or other co-curricular activities. And this is a great opportunity to build upon that or explore new interests. So feel free to send any questions. While we wait for some of the questions, just a reminder, tomorrow we have the webinar on fraternity and sorority life at 3 p.m. So if you have not yet registered, you can go on the Family Hub and register through there. You also got an email where you could have registered through that information through the announcement in the Family Hub. So we don't seem to have any questions. I think there's so much information. Everybody's excited about exploring it in more detail, and probably later on we'll have some questions. Are there any last minute recommendations, suggestions that you would like to leave families with?
Sure. I would just share some of the things that we have coming up in the fall semester that they're going to find through Engage or Blazer Pulse, but I'll go ahead and put on family members' radar. The first I mentioned, as we discussed, is Connect Fest. Connect Fest happens a Sunday night before classes start. So that's Sunday, August 20th from 4 to 7 p.m. on the green. We'll have 100 to 150 student organizations tabling. We'll have live music, free food, activities. It's a lot of fun. We expect a big crowd, and I want to encourage your student to come out and check that out. Another experience, if you have a new student, is a program called Blazers at BHM. This enables your student to move in a couple days early. They move in on Thursday, the 17th, and we start with a kickoff that evening where they have some food, get t-shirts, and get assigned upperclassmen mentors. And then each day we have activities to help them get acclimated to campus ahead of the start of the first day, and to really engage in the Birmingham community in addition to their UAB community. So we're doing things like going to the Barons, to Regensfield, to the Barons game. We're going to the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute. We're having dinner at the Vulcan one night. So just really great exposure to Birmingham. It's a free opportunity. The first 200 students that register are able to participate, and that registration form is found on Engage. So you go to forms and search Blazers at BHM. The last resource I would share, I've actually highlighted somewhat, is Into the Streets. That's our day of service event, and that registration will be live starting the beginning of the school year on Blazer Pulse. And that event's happening Saturday, September 9th from about 9 to 1 p.m. that day. So we encourage our students to participate in the variety of events. This is just a small preview of things that we have going on, but again, all of it's at their fingertips. They can learn more on Blazer Pulse and or Engage.
Thank you. Those are just wonderful opportunities, especially Connect Fest, that first evening on campus. And sometimes students are a bit hesitant about going outside, and, they don't know, they may not know a lot of people. That is a great opportunity to meet people. You might have an interest in an organization. You go to that table and there you go. You've got other people with similar interests. So family members, encourage your students to, I know it's hard sometimes for them to explore new things, especially where it's something new, but encourage them to do so and to look at all the options ahead of time so they can have an idea of what's available. and definitely sign up for the Blazers at VHM early, because that's going to be really a great program that is launching this year. So we don't have any questions at this time. So family members, just remember this is going live on Facebook. This is going recorded on Facebook after we are done, and then we will post it on our website within a week with captions. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to email us at the family at uab.edu. Any emails that you have, we will direct them to the appropriate other partners. And also, if you have questions about what was mentioned today about Engage and Blaze for Pulse, feel free to email also, and definitely check out the website. All right. Well, thank you everybody for attending, and thank you, Dr. Cotant, for being with us today. And we look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow, hopefully, and throughout the rest of our webinars. Have a great afternoon, everybody.